Where is your boyfriend? Mine is going to be this apple crumble that I'm just about to make for you on what we call the overdressed cook. My name is Anita Nderu. Hey, come along. So I love baking desserts. I'm not the greatest consumer of, which is fantastic because it's not good to get high off your own supply. So it's a very simple recipe. You're gonna need apples, flour, muesli. Is it muesli? That one. You need cinnamon sticks. You need cinnamon powder. The usual shameless plug. Asali cinnamon. I need to start using a different type. We have like literally 12 variants. And then you need cold butter. You need a bowl that has water, which you're gonna add lemon to, and that prevents the chopped apples from turning brown. And of course you have custard sugar. The reason why I'm using honey and custard sugar is because you're meant to use 2 portions of custard sugar, but then honey is healthier. We are trying to be healthy 30-year-olds. So on top of that, you need cold water, which you are going to use to boil your apples with the cinnamon. Anyway, this is the process. I feel like I've already explained everything to you. And you need a nice oven-proof dish. That's cute, like this one, my favorite color. Okay, shall we begin? All right, so we normally start by rolling the lemons so we can get the juice out. So much juice. Okay, so then that is how you know it is well rolled, because it's crazy, it's squishy, like a boom. All right, so then let's do this. This is the bowl. It just has normal cold water, and then you just squeeze. I don't know why I'm such a perv. I really need to work on myself. Squeeze that in. Okay. So the particular types of apples that you're supposed to use for said recipe, but you can use ordinary green apples from your local grocer, and you just need 6 of them. I'm throwing in 1 red. Oh, should we do 2 reds? Let's make it 2 reds. Let's match the dress. Okay, I feel like maybe that might have been confused. Let's match the dress. Oh man. So this is the weird thing. I learned how to peel potatoes when I was a really small kid. No, it was not like labor. It's just like what you do in the kitchen. Even though there's always a peeler, I always prefer to use the usual peeling method. I don't know why. So I like to believe I'm not too shabby at it, because I just find it faster. The peeler just takes way too long. I always feel like red apples brown faster than green apples for some reason. I do not understand why. Speaking of apples, if there is a spice that goes amazing with apples, it's cinnamon. And then with mango, you'd use cardamom. It's just a match made in heaven. You should try mango with vanilla ice cream and put a bit of cardamom. It is such a nice shake. Hey, let me give you guys a story of how I was supposed to leave the country. I've said goodbye to all my friends, and then I've even gotten some sort of farewell party, and I was not meant to come back to the same school. Who was the first person in Form 1 with a big backpack with all her names written on it, because my mother said no when it was time to leave? I said, hey, anyway. So I really love my mom. It's just that I think she was just a disciplinarian in the family. So like most of my memories of her were always related to me being told no or don't do it or something of the sort. So we were always the last people to be dropped in school in the morning and the last people to be picked up in the evening, to the point where we used to know people's parents, because whenever they're leaving, they're like, your Mr. Nderu has not come to pick you up, and you're just like, And then at some random hour, like at 7 p.m, school actually stopped at 4:15. I'm not even joking. So we, in our school, there was a club called the Sikh Union Club, where you could, play badminton and do all these things. So we'd be sitting either by the staircase because we're done with sports or whatever. My father would literally drive by outside the gate and hoot once or twice, and then go like till halfway to just on the road. And if you did not hear the hooting, the man went home. You have to wait until he gets home and mother asks where the children. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I honestly don't know how we survived as kids, but we had the coolest parents, I feel, because like every single time we sit down with my siblings and we talk about the way our parents were, we're just like, how have we survived all these years? Alright, so now you just half the apples and then quarter them, because you need to remove the core. So my dad, I used to drive a yellow tricycle, for a very long time in my life, I think. And then he tells me, oh, there's a bike behind here that I've bought for you. And I was like, oh, that's so great. And it's a 2-wheeler and I'm going to teach you how to ride the bike. I was like, fantastic. You guys, that's the same bike Sparky had, Koki had. Those are my brothers. They also have normal names, Kenyajun Deru and Karaoke Deru. That is the same bike. He just had it repainted. Anyway, I was like, it's cool. I've been bought for a bike. Why am I complaining? So he says, let me teach you how to ride the bike. It was one of the most memorable afternoons of my life. I fell a million times because he just put me on the bike and pushed it. And it was for me to figure it out. And then after that, he kept trying to teach me to ride the bike until I got it that afternoon. And then there's nothing on earth I enjoyed more than riding the bike. Grab a saucepan. Aww. We'll use her for like, on the side, like, oh, it's an apple crumble. Alright, so let's just put these in here. Okay. And you're gonna need a bit of water, like half a glass, of course, of a glass. Because it's not it's not meant to boil for too long. We're just trying to, soften the apples a little bit. Cinnamon sticks, because cinnamon and apple, what's up, group? And then I have a cinnamon asali. Put a bit of, pour that honey on me. All right. So that should be about the amount that you need for, again, kupima na macho. So I would say, if you're going to use honey and not caster sugar, I would say use about 6 teaspoons of honey or 6 tablespoons of honey. I think it just depends on how sweet your tooth is. And then now we take the famous mwiko. Not only have I been bitten by this particular piece of equipment, I've also used it in the kitchen quite a bit. And I'm sure every single person has it. Alright, okay, we just need to find a color for you. Alright, get yourself a clean bowl. Put the flour, your muesli, that's the caster sugar gone in, and then our cinnamon powder. So I like to cube mine, and there we go, that goes in, I go in. So you just kind of, try and create a crumble. What's going to happen is the butter automatically melts, but it also melts all year round, every single time when you rub it with your warm hands. If I add any more sugar, it's going to be too sweet, and the apple already has enough sugar. If I add any more cinnamon, it will be too overpowering, so it's just perfect. So the quantities that you see in this video are the right ratio. Thank you. Alright, so we've created our crumble. When the apple tries to be a little soft, or at least tries to be, when the apple starts to be a little soft, you can take it out. Oh hi! It smells so nice. It's very cinnamony, because the apple is tartier than it is sweeter. Alright, so what I want to do is, I want to reduce this just a little bit, because if you leave the apples as is, with the crumble, it will be apple and crumble. Alternatively, when you want to make it thicker faster, you can add a little bit of flour. Speaking of, or rather, having hair that is not mine, but looks hella good. What do you call, when we were kids, we're not allowed to relax our hair for any reason. Do you guys remember Beautiful Beginnings? We were dying, my sister and I, to relax our hair. My mom was like, no. The second my sister hit high school like this, and my mother in boarding school actually, next thing you knew, Vanessa rocked up to us with relaxed hair and she was like, it's done. It's permanent, Mom, what are you gonna do? And there we go. To make the apple and the crumble come together in holy matrimony and show some love to each other, just kind of sprinkle on top. That's all you do. So you see, that's the reason why you have to have a bit of liquid at the bottom, because this is flour that you're just sprinkling on top, and trying to create a nice even coating. Okay. check on the crumble. Oh man. It has browned so nicely. I wonder if I do this, if it'll just sink in. I don't like the cracks it has on. It should look prettier. Okay. It is really crumbling, like on the wheel though. Okay, wait, I need to find a better way of doing this. But anyway, I don't think that's how it's supposed to come out. So we come here and trying to dig into this very well. It's still hot. Apples are like hot potatoes. We'll be here burning tongues the way we normally drum up preacher. BTS, trailer, and the film. If there was vanilla ice cream, it would have been the perfect dessert. I swear to God, it is so nice. Like the cinnamoniness of everything, it is so good. It's moist and it's also the syrup made the crumble moist, so it's not like super dry. I love it. We normally end with a very random story before I forget. Okay. When I was a child, I used to have this yellow tricycle. And then one day, I asked to go for a sleepover and my dad said no. And I felt my life was over. I was not being permitted to go to somebody else's home even though we had a home. So what happened is, I took my backpack, I went to the house, I packed what I considered my most necessary items. I took a teddy bear, I took whatever money I had saved. I don't remember packing clothes. I was just packing things. I remember packing a book. I put all these things in my tricycle, wore my backpack, said goodbye to my brothers, and actually I was running away. I was going to be a child of the streets. I was going to go to my friend's house and say this is going to be my new home because my parents are so mean they won't allow me to do certain things. You see, what I also forgot was, considering that we were not even allowed to drive our bikes past a certain point after the gate in the compound, that's as far as I made it to. My father saw me when I was driving off and he asked me, where are you going? And I said, I'm running away, I'm done. And he was just like, okay. When I got to the gate, the watchman took me back to the house and that's the end of that story. Enjoy making your apple crumble. Oh man.